Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about how I went from racing grocery carts to virtual supercars. If you're looking for a fun hobby and you have some extra cash laying around in this crazy economy, then sim racing may be perfect for you. So buckle up, grab a snack, and let's hit the virtual track. So I just discovered sim racing this year and I'm absolutely hooked. Whether you have a fancy gaming PC or a console like an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, you too can get into sim racing, and it's so fun to be able to drive around the track and experience that thrill from the comfort of your own home. Now before we dive into my personal experience, let's take a quick look at the history of sim racing. Sim racing, or simulated racing, started gaining traction in the late 1980s and early 90s with the emergence of racing simulators on personal computers. These early simulators offered basic graphics and limited physics engines, but laid the foundation for what would become a rapidly growing industry. Over the years, sim racing has evolved significantly. From the arcade-style racing games of the 1980s like Pole Position, to the highly realistic simulators we have today, the genre has come a long way. Titles like Iracing, Assetto Corsa, and Gran Turismo has set a new standard for realism and immersion. So let's talk about the pros and the cons of sim racing. Let's kick things off with it's very fun and it provides a semi-realistic experience with things like force feedback and precision controls that make you feel like you're on the track. Now I was also skeptical of a semi-realistic experience, but the first time I used a direct drive wheel, it changed everything. The amount of force feedback, the amount of haptics that you can feel in the wheel is unlike anything else. The next pro on the list is skill development. It helps you improve your driving skills, reflexes, and understanding of the racing techniques. You can practice different tracks and cars without the risk and cost of real-life racing. Next, there's community. If there's one thing I've learned in the last 6 months, is that there's such a vibrant community of sim racers out there, and it can be a great way to connect with like-minded enthusiasts. Online leagues and competitions add a social and competitive element to the hobby as well. So those are the pros. Now cons, we didn't forget about you, so go ahead and step to the front. Now the first con is probably the most obvious for me and my wallet, and that's just cost. Listen, sim racing can be very expensive, especially when we start talking about the higher end equipment that you can buy and how much that costs. However, there are budget-friendly options, such as finding a deal online or even buying used secondhand. Now that's how I got my wheel. I found a Fanatec CSL DD wheel with upgraded pedals for about $600 on OfferUp. And the only reason I went with it is because the guy had just got a new set from his buddy, and so he was looking to get rid of his wheel set. So when I saw it in person, it looked like it was brand new, so I bought it. But always be careful of buying things used because you never know who you're going to meet. So always proceed with caution. And also there are no warranties. So if you get home and you find out that it doesn't work or it's not to your liking, you can't return it like you would if you brought it at an actual store. But those who know me know I love a great deal. So when that popped up, I couldn't pass it up. Also, there was that whole issue of Fanatec not really selling anything. A bunch of people had back orders. So that was one of the other reasons why I decided to go used, was because I didn't want to buy the wheel and then wait for an undetermined amount of time before it showed up. For all I know, it could still be on hold. The second con to sim racing is space. A proper sim rig can take up a lot of space, which might be a problem if you have limited room. So there are two camps of people. There are those who have a ginormous amount of space that they don't need. And then there are those of us who have very limited space in our places. I fall into that very limited space category. So the creative solution that I came up with is I have a Next Level Racing Wheel Stand 2.0, which I'm going to go ahead and link that and all the other products that you see here in the video description, because I have to sim race at my desk. And because I sim race at my desk, I need a solution where I can go from game mode to work mode really quickly. Now just FYI, this stand did not come with casters at all. I had to buy those separately, but I knew I'd be moving it almost every single day. So what I want to do is not have to lift it, and I want to be able to just roll it. So I installed 2 casters on the front. And then one of the benefits of this wheel stand now is that I can go ahead and move it over to my desk and get in the game mode and do that for as long as I want. And then when it's time to get serious again and then go back into work mode, I can just will it away. And the last con can be the learning curve. With sim racing, there's so much that's involved. There are different settings, configurations, cars, and tracks to learn that it can be really daunting for a beginner. But just know that you're not going to be Lewis Hamilton overnight, and it's going to take some time to practice and get more comfortable with things. Even after 6 months, I'm still learning how to drive with traction control off and ABS off, and although it's really hard, it's also really rewarding when you learn one little aspect. As a complete noob to the hobby, I've not only found it fun to learn about and look for new equipment, but to also find new games that I now love playing. And there's so much to learn, and the journey itself is exciting. Now, if you don't have money for a gaming PC and you still want to try out sim racing on an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, that's what I do, and it works out perfectly fine, no issues. And although you can't play all the games you can on a PC, the fact that my Xbox just stays on my desk and I can go and play it whenever I want is good enough for me at the moment. Now, I too want to upgrade my setup and get a nice gaming PC. I am saving up for that. Who knows when I'm going to get it. But it is cool to see how expansive this hobby can be if you have the right equipment. Now, for those of you who are sim racing already, let me know down in the comments, are you using a PC or a console? Now, two good options if you want to try sim racing but don't want to spend too much money on is number one, check your contact list and see if you have any friends who are already into the hobby and see if you can, I don't know, trade some time on their sim rig for a pizza. Or your second option would be to see if you could find a sim racing place near you where you can go and test it out. And the great thing about that option is it's only going to cost you about $50 to $75 per hour to try it out. And you're not out hundreds of dollars where if you went and bought all the equipment and found out that you didn't like sim racing. Sim racing has seen a significant rise in popularity, especially during the global pandemic when real-life motorsport events were canceled. The participation of real drivers in virtual races and the accessibility of sim racing have contributed to its growing fan base. Now, if you ask me, I also personally think that a show like Drive to Survive on Netflix that goes through and shows you what it's like to be in a Formula One team are also adding to the increase in popularity in sim racing. But let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think about Drive to Survive? Do you think there should be another season, or are you done with the show? Me, I absolutely love the show. I can't get enough of it. I'm ready for the next season. Drop it tomorrow. Please and thank you. Looking ahead, the future of sim racing is incredibly promising. With advances in technology, we can expect even more realistic and immersive experiences. The integration of virtual and real-world racing is likely to continue, and we might see more affordable entry-level equipment, making it easier for newcomers to get started. So if you're thinking about getting into sim racing, I highly recommend it. It's a thrilling hobby that offers hours of endless fun and excitement. Alright guys, let me know if this video inspired you to get into sim racing, inspired you to get more serious about your sim racing if you're already doing it, or if this video had zero effect on you at all. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I'm Neil, and I'll see you guys the next time I decide to hit the upload button. Peace.